Cinderella comes to the basketball tonight. Bloomington Central Catholic at 15-15 faces Pleasant Plains, the 2000 state champs, in quarterfinal number 3. It's up next on the IHSA TV network. What would March Madness be without Cinderella? Hello and welcome to Carver Arena in Peoria. It's the second doubleheader of the day here tonight. Our third quarter final gets things going this evening, and it's Bloomington Central Catholic taking on Pleasant Plains. The Saints, just 2.5 weeks ago, were 10-15, and they expected, most people expected them to lose to Eureka in the regional semifinal. Since then, they've won every game. They only won 2 in a row. That was their longest win streak of the regular season. And now they've won 6 straight going into tonight's quarterfinal against Pleasant Plains, a team that won the state championship in 2000, was favored to come back a year ago, and lost in the super sectional to Macomb. They are back again, and I'm not even sure who's doing this game. Who is it? It's Kurt Pegler and Doug Altenberger. I had to look over my shoulder and see who's doing this game. Go ahead, guys.
All right, thank you, Lee, I guess. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger with you. Yeah, Doug, Cinderella has arrived at the ball. Central Catholic 15-15. They're on a roll right now, and this is what March Madness is all about.
Well, as Al Michaels says, do you believe in miracles? I mean, it's purely a miracle to see these guys out here in the state tournament and here at in Peoria. So they're coming in. They've got no pressure on them, nothing to lose, everything to gain.
All right, let's take a look at how these teams got to the state quarterfinals here in Peoria. We'll start with Pleasant Plains, who won the state championship 2 years ago. A sectional win over Virginia, and then beating Whitehall in the sectional championship. That was in Petersburg. And then on Tuesday night, a team they've played 3 straight years in the super sectional, Macomb, a 75-59 win over the Bombers to get back to the state Elite Eight. Bloomington Central Catholic, meanwhile, beat arch rival U High to win the Eureka Regional, and then beat Delavan and El Paso to win the Chillicothe Sectional. And then on Tuesday night at Redbird Arena in Normal, beat CPCI to win the Normal Super Sectional 59-55 to get here to Peoria and the Class A state quarterfinals. As far as the key players to match up, well, when you talk about Pleasant Plains, they've got 4 players averaging in double figures, but you start your conversation with Jordan Roth.
Yeah, I mean, he's the all-stater. He's their guy that does everything. Leads the team in rebounding, points, and assists. Does it all for them. For like Unity, Tyler Smith, this guy's same thing. Jordan Roth, he does everything for him. He's got to get his touches tonight for them to be successful offensively.
Really no star player for Central Catholic. The Saints, they've really spread it around. Nobody even averaging in double figures in points, but Raymond Lalo is the team's leading scorer.
Well, you've got to spell somebody out. This is the guy right here. He has really stepped it up in the state tournament. That's one reason why they're here tonight. But he leads by defense, not his offense so much. Tenacious defender, and he leads by example. The rest of the guys, probably the best defensive team in the whole state right now. They're playing just tenacious defense.
All right, Pleasant Plains 29-3, Central Catholic 15-15. Let's break down the keys to this tonight's game. First for the Cardinals.
Well, for the Cardinals, they've got to get off to a quick start. They don't want to get behind, and they've got to go up tempo. They're going to establish themselves, but if things don't go well offensively, got to stay patient. Don't get frustrated. Those are the key for Pleasant Plains.
And for Cinderella, who hopes that the midnight doesn't strike, the clock doesn't strike midnight tonight.
Right. They're not a high-scoring team, so they're going to want to control the tempo, establish themselves defensively, and to put with that tough pressure defense that they've done here so far in the state tournament.
The Saints are the Cinderella story. The Cardinals are a heavyweight. Stay tuned. A good matchup between Bloomington Central Catholic and Pleasant Plains in the third state quarterfinal of the day. And we'll have more from Carver Arena after these messages and a word from your local stations. And welcome back to Carver Arena. Pleasant Plains, the Cardinals at 29-3. The Bloomington Central Catholic Saints at 15-15, getting ready to tip off here in the third state quarterfinal of the Class A Boys Basketball Championships. Let's take a quick look at where these two schools are located with regards to their spot in the state of Illinois and their closeness to Peoria. Bloomington just down the road, about a 45-minute drive from Bloomington to Peoria. That's also the hometown of the IHSA headquarters, in Pleasant Plains, just west of Springfield, so really not that far of a trek either. We expect Doug to have some serious fan support. It's a real easy drive for both these schools to get their teams here.
Well, you're going to see a lot of support out there, but like you said, being close quarters here, and the fans, especially Bloomington Central Catholic, they just got to be going crazy down there, probably trying to buy every ticket they can. The whole town of Bloomington's probably here, and same thing with Pleasant Plains. Here's the guys are used to coming to the state, and the fans get expected, and they probably already got their hotel room.
Well, it's an interesting scenario here. Pleasant Plains wins the state championship 2 years ago, was expected to win it again last year with Dusty Bensko, the #1 ranked team in the state. Were beaten by Macomb in the super sectional. Central Catholic, on the other hand, they've never won a state quarterfinal game, so they're here certainly as a big-time underdog in the Cinderella. So you have kind of differing opinions of where these two schools have come from as far as their schools of thought are concerned.
Yeah, but I think both teams, there's a surprise to be here. Pleasant Plains, everybody thought that Macomb was going to win that, come out of that super sectional, and they stepped up with just a great game and a huge win and upset. Same thing with Central Catholic, the Saints, just coming out of nowhere to beat System Park.
Let's go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association and the City of Peoria, welcome to America's Original March Madness. Tonight's Class A quarterfinal game in Carver Arena features the Pleasant Plains Cardinals, a record of 29-3, and the Bloomington Central Catholic Saints, a record of 15-15. At this time, to honor America, please stand, address the flag with your hand over your heart, and remove your caps as Daniel Stubbe, a student at East Alton Wood River High School, leads us in our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now let's meet the teams for this quarterfinal contest. For the Cardinals of Pleasant Plains, 5'9" sophomore, number 4, Aaron Dias. 6'1" senior, number 5, Andy Crompton. 5'10" senior, 10, Michael Lucchese. 5'10" senior, number 12, Jamie Kleimenhagen. 6'1" senior, number 20, Steve Brown. 6'2" sophomore, 30, Matt Bryant. 6' senior, 32, Aaron Rappaport. 6'3" junior, 42, Brett Oswald. 6'3" junior, 44, Curtis Nelson. 6'4" sophomore, 52, Thomas Suki. Now meet the Saints of Bloomington Central Catholic. 5'8" junior, Nick Burton. 5'10" junior, 12, Logan McCoy. 5'9" junior, 14, Ryan Sheets. 5'9" junior, 23, Dino Davis. 5'7" senior, 24, Dusty Provost. 5'10" junior, 32, Jeremy Daniel. And 6'4" junior, 41, Alex Baines. And now the starting lineups for this quarterfinal game. For Pleasant Plains, a 6'7" forward, a senior, 15, Jordan Rupp. For Central Catholic, a 6-foot senior forward, number 4, Tyler Newberry. For the Cardinals at forward, a 6'2" senior, number 40, Ryan Sunley. Another forward for the Saints, a 6'1" junior, 25, Michael Lenahan. At center for Pleasant Plains, a 6'3" senior, 54, Joe Miles. Another forward for Central Catholic, a 6'3" sophomore, 42, William Brady. Guards for the Cardinals, a 5'10" senior, 21, Joey Altsmeyer. The fourth forward for Central Catholic, a 6'3" junior, 44, Raymond Lello. The other guard for Pleasant Plains, a 6'5" junior, 25, John Edmondson. And the guard for Central Catholic, a 5'9" senior, number 3, Richie Law. Pleasant Plains head coach in his 7th season, 4 at Pleasant Plains, where he's won 13 and 17, is Cliff Cameron. Assistant coaches, Dan Watson, TJ Frazee, and Ryan Needham. Head coach Kevin Brown of Central Catholic, all 5 years, a record of 65 and 74. Assistant coaches Jeff Kasher and Todd Grunlow. No other state in America can claim the rich history and tradition.
All right, let's take a look at those starting lineups again between these two teams, Central Catholic and Pleasant Plains. As we said, the Cinderella team has arrived. First for Pleasant Plains, Jordan Roth, their star player. Outstanding. We'll keep our eyes on him all game long. Ryan Sunley, Joe Miles, John Edmondson, Joey Altsmeyer. That's the 5 for Pleasant Plains. Central Catholic, they start Lenahan, Brady, Lello, Long, and Newberry. And Lenahan at the top of the chart there. We should mention Michael Lenahan's father, John Lenahan, led the Saints in the 70s to a state quarterfinal appearance. So a father-son tandem doing the job at Bloomington Central Catholic. The Cardinals come in at 29-3. As we said, a powerhouse from just west of Springfield. And Central Catholic, if you're looking for the Cinderella, you're looking at the glass slipper still fits. This team started the postseason 10-15 and is now 15-15 at the 500 mark and playing now in the state finals.
And you look at the teams come out. I mean, if you just look at their hair, you can notice the difference between them. These guys, Central Catholic's not quite as crisp as Pleasant Plains. These guys come out, look like they've been here before, but again, we talked about it. These guys come in the Saints with nothing to lose.
Larry Bruck, Dave Miller, Bob Schiffauer, the officials, and we are underway here in Peoria, the 3rd Class A state quarterfinal of the day. And the first one of the night session. Pleasant Plains is in the road red uniforms with white trim, and Central Catholic with white and the purple trim. And quickly a backdoor basket right away, that time by number 21, Joey Altsmeyer. And quickly, full court pressure by Pleasant Plains. And a steal now in the backcourt. It's Edmondson who comes away with it, and quickly again ran by Jordan Roth.
Good idea by the Cardinals to come out. These guys have been here. These guys, and the Saints you can see how nervous they are, Kurt, out there, and good idea to come out with that full court pressure.
And Tyler Newberry turned it over, so Central Catholic has 2 turnovers and Pleasant Plains has 2 baskets. It's 4-0 in the first 30 seconds. Now a lob on the back door that time, but it was picked off. Edmondson tried to lob it down low to Roth, but it's intercepted. Now Central Catholic's first offensive possession. Man-to-man defense by the Cardinals. Renahan leans in, may have walked. Nope, it's going to be a foul. Let's tell you where these two cities are and compare them as far as the tail of the tape is concerned. Pleasant Plains with 701 in the city from Sangamon County, 379 in the school. As far as Central Catholic, of course, Bloomington, 57,000 in McLean County, 318 is the school enrollment in the very tough Corn Belt Conference. Both these teams play tough competition within their own conference, and another turnover, the third Central Catholic turnover. BCC has yet to get a shot off, but there's the first Pleasant Plains turnover tonight.
We talked about the Cardinals getting off to a quick start. They've done that up 4-0. The Saints have really got to settle down, try to just take care of the basketball, like you said, Kurt. 3 consecutive turnovers here. Haven't had a shot attempt.
And Tyler Newberry is out of the game now. Ryan Sheets has checked in for the Saints, our first substitution of the night. We're just underway here in Peoria. It's 4-0 in favor of Pleasant Plains. And there's the first basket of the game for Central Catholic. And it comes off the fingertips of William Brady.
A nice job of getting the ball to the middle part of the basket. Middle part of the court. Was able to see it better. And a nice transition back up by Brady.
Edmondson hangs, fires, missed the shot. Cleared that time by Raymond Lella. Lello spinning, had the ball stripped out of his hands, got it back. It's going to be a jump ball on that held ball possession. Central Catholic retains it. 4-2 Pleasant Plains. Very early on, we have yet to play 2 minutes here at Carver Arena. Earlier today, a pair of quarterfinal games, one by Heron, the other one by Unity High School from Tolono. So those two teams have punched their tickets into the state semifinals tomorrow. 2 more games tonight. Sheets pump fake, give it up on the baseline. Jump shot that time by Brady is no good and cleared by Pleasant Plains. And back now comes Joey Altsmeyer.
Again, nice job by Saints to get into the interior of the Cardinals defense.
Inside, it's Roth scoring. Tough basket in traffic.
A lot of guys hanging on him, but he stayed with it, able to finish that basket off.
And so Roth now has 4 points, and we've got a foul in the backcourt that time as Altsmeyer's a little too aggressive on that full court pressure.
Now right now, Kevin Brown's looking for someone to get in the middle of the court. The guys were spread out. They're up the sidelines or behind them. If you want to break the press, get somebody in the middle.
And we'll likely see some sort of full court pressure from Pleasant Plains all night. That time the Saints do a nice job getting the ball across the timeline. Now it's Sheets lost the dribble, looking for help. Baseline jumper, Lello.
Well, Kurt, the good news is once they break that press, they're able to get some easy baskets. When you put pressure on the basketball and you're able to handle it, a lot of times it pays off. So far, that's been the story for the Saints.
We mentioned that 4 members of Pleasant Plains average in double figures in scoring. Nobody from the Saints averages double figures. Driving on the baseline and scoring off the glass is John Edmondson. Nicely done. And now Sheets dribbles right through the defense. It's a 3-on-1 if the Saints had the numbers. Lenahan and a shot rejected out of there by Ryan Sunley, who trailed the play.
Well, I tell you right now, the Saints have shaken off their nervousness. Right now, they're much more aggressive, and you can see them pushing the ball. They went right through that press this time. The Cardinals have got to get back on defense if they're going to break down like that. Another easy basket for the Saints. We're able to convert that, gets to the free throw line.
Now, foul was called on Sunley, so it's Brady at the free throw line. Tyler Newberry is going to re-enter the game for BCC, and we'll see Thomas Suki of Pleasant Plains for the first time. Brady is a 66% free thrower. He missed both of his foul shots, but Michael Lenahan comes away with it, and he traveled. And there's a timeout on the floor. This This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. And by AGCO Tractor. You've got to drive one.
Well, 1-9 start. I really feel that everything that could go wrong during that time period went wrong. We didn't shoot free throws well for a while. Then we couldn't catch a break, and we didn't have good team chemistry, and some things happened down the stretch. We lost some players due to a 1-9 start, and one of those things was it built the team and brought the team together.
And certainly the team has played very well in this last month of the season. As we said off the top of the broadcast, Central Catholic's longest winning streak of the season was 2 games heading into the final game of the season, which the Saints won, and they've won 5 straight postseason games to get here to the state quarterfinals with a 15-15 record.
Hey, Kurt, what's one thing you got to remind yourself is that when you start the state tournament, everybody's 0-0. It doesn't matter what your win-loss record. It doesn't matter what you do in the conference, and that's what makes March Madness so special.
That's exactly what makes March Madness so special. Lost the ball on the floor, and the Saints come away with it. It's Richie Long in transition. Sheets gives it up to Lenahan from 18. It's good.
These guys, they're amazing. I mean, defensively, if you make a mistake, they make you pay the price. And on the offensive end, you've got to take care of the basketball.
3-point basket by Michael Lenahan, and it's a 1-point game now. Pleasant Plains with the ball and an 8-7 lead. Central Catholic in a zone defense now. Brock hangs, fires, and scores off the glass. That's John Edmondson.
Well, Edmondson, he's a nice-looking player. I mean, he's big, tall, 6'5", handles the basketball. Only a junior, but boy, he's got some nice tools to work with there.
Yeah, that was my thought exactly. He'll be back next year too. Now it's Sheets driving and kicking out. Lenahan looking for help. He gives it out to Richie Long as we approach the 3-minute mark left here in the opening quarter of the 3rd state quarterfinal game here in Peoria. Class A boys basketball state championships. Tyler Newberry, a 3-ball is up and no good. Ball tipped out and controlled that time by Albsmeyer.
Albsmeyer did a nice job getting to the other side and sealing off, getting that rebound. There was 2 white jerseys. He wanted it bad.
And now he shoots the 3 and knocks it down. Joey Albsmeyer.
That was a dagger. He hit that from the NBA 3-point line. That was from downtown.
Albsmeyer has the school record for 3s in a season. He had 83 of them this year in 174 attempts. So he loves to stand outside the 3-point arc. Long gives it up. Now Lenahan tries for 3. The answer for the Saints, can't get it. Nice offensive board by William Brady. His shot is no good and cleared out of there by Jordan Ross of the Cardinals. And now Pleasant Plains up-tempoing it. Just like you thought they would try to do, Doug.
Goes very hard against Central Catholic to get an easy transition bucket. They're very quick, and they get back defensively very well. So, again, we talked about the Cardinals being patient. So far, they've done that pretty well. Got to know where he is.
A 3-ball that time is up and missed by Albsmeyer.
Yeah, if you're going to play zone, you've got to communicate who those shooters are. And Albsmeyer, I mean, he's a guy, like you said, he can rain it from anywhere. And once he's your zone buster. So, got to match up on the perimeter with him.
That's the reason why it's so hard to defend Pleasant Plains with 4 guys in double figures. And now from the baseline. Shot is no good by Brady. And cleared by Albsmeyer. He's going to quickly push the ball all the way up. Nobody cuts him off, but it's going to be an offensive foul on Albsmeyer as he collided with Lenahan, who took the charge.
Little out of control there, dips his shoulder. That's why he gets called for the offensive charge. Nowhere to go, just pull it up. Again, you're not going to beat Central Catholic. They're too quick defensively. They get back very well. In the last 11 games, teams are only averaging 42 points a game, so you're not going to get anything easy off these guys. They're going to make you work for it.
Certainly Central Catholic is quick to point out that its tenacious defense has really fueled this run to the state quarters. And they're showing some of that here on the floor tonight. 13-7 Pleasant Plains with a 6-point lead. Central Catholic with a basketball. Under 1:20 to go here in the opening quarter. On the baseline, it's Lella spinning and having a shot snuffed out of there by Jordan Roth. Roth showing he can play the defense too. He's not just his team's leading scorer. From the outside, a three is up and no good by Bryant. Tipped into the corner and controlled by Central Catholic as it's Lello who comes away with it.
And Kurt, what you're starting to see right now, Pleasant Plains starting to lose their patience a little bit, looking for that quick shot from the perimeter. They can get that shot anytime they want. Got to get that ball inside, use their height advantage.
Pleasant Plains has dropped into his zone defense, and Central Catholic is content on just dribbling the ball until it gets a final shot. Ryan Sheets will dribble at the timeline. Kevin Brown, the head coach of the Saints, right in front of us, barking out instructions.
Well, they call this the rabbit play, you just said. I've never heard a play called the rabbit.
We'll see if they execute it properly. Under 15 seconds here in the opening quarter. Sheets, dribble drive, look for help, lost the ball on the floor. Central Catholic got it right back though, shot it up and in that time. Ray Lello in the right place at the right time. And a long pass is out of bounds, and the Saints are going to get it with 1.4 seconds to go in the period. I'm not sure the rabbit play said lose the ball on the floor and Lello pick it up and shoot it in, but it worked.
Well, a lot of times the way you diagram is not the way it always works out. So you've got to make those reads, and good hustle by the Saints, pick up that loose ball.
Now they'll essentially have time for a catch and shoot here with 1.4 seconds to go. Fake the lob into Lello, and it goes! So Central Catholic scores 4 points in the final 9 seconds of the period, and at the end of one, it's Pleasant Plains 13 and Bloomington Central Catholic 11. Second quarter action is around the corner after these messages, and a word from our local stations.
Price is $15.
13-11, Pleasant Plains leads Central Catholic here after one quarter. We are with Kevin Brown's wife, Jody Brown, the coach's wife. You've been in Colorado now, got transferred. You've been there, what, a couple of months now?
Since January 18th.
How tough has that been being separated, especially during this great run here in the postseason?
Well, we'd only won 5 games before I left, so I'm surprised they let me come back. But it's been really tough. The first thing I did was count how many basketball games I was going to miss, because I've never missed one before, so it was hard.
Yeah, that's what Kevin said. Tell me about being back here for this. This has been awfully special. What's so special about these boys? Been able to come back from a bad start. Yeah,
they're underdogs, and they're go-getters, and they're just great kids, and they're going to be hard to leave this year, that's for sure. But I would have walked here to see this game. So.
Hey guys, Kevin and Jody are reunited, and it feels so good here for the Class A state championship. Back to you.
Oh, that's terrible, Lee. Peaches and Herb references being used in the state quarterfinals. For those folks who might not be familiar with that story, Jody gets transferred out to Colorado 2 months ago. Kevin Brown, the head coach, says he will go out to Colorado as soon as his basketball season is over. Well, guess what? Central Catholic has only lost 1 game since then, and they've put together this nice little run to get into the state quarterfinals. So she's had to commute back and forth on occasion to watch these basketball games because Kevin is here coaching this team to a Cinderella story while she's out in Colorado. So the players have all got a kick out of extending their coach's stay in Central Illinois before he could go back out to Colorado. It'll certainly be a bittersweet day when he leaves, because it's been a wonderful run by the Saints, and it'll end some way, shape, or form this weekend. That's Sunley. His shot is up and no good, and cleared that time by Lello of the Saints.
Yeah, every time Pleasant Plains has a shot, it's always contested. These guys are in their face, in the passing lanes. Nothing goes uncontested. I mean, that's one reason why they're here. Defensively, they're going to make you work on every possession.
Central Catholic down 4-0 in the opening 28 seconds of the game, but now has an opportunity to tie this game up or take a lead with a 3-ball.
Yeah, Pleasant Plains really stepped out early, got some easy buckets, and that was really basically because the Saints were so nervous.
And there's a turnover that time as Michael Lenahan is called for the travel. That'll be the 5th Central Catholic turnover. Let's take a quick look at the early scoring leaders so far in this game. Again, Pleasant Plains leading 13-8. You see that Alvsmeyer, the 3-point specialist, leading the Cardinals. He has 5. Roth and Edmondson each have 4, and Ray Lello, Central Catholic, has 6.
And that's one thing that the Saints have done a great job is now allowing Roth to get a lot of touches. We haven't said his name much here in the first 2 quarters, and right now he just doesn't have much going on here.
Sunley around a double team, spinning and scoring a tough shot.
Spun around there 180 with 2 guys in his face.
The Pleasant Plains coaching staff think that Ryan Sunley is probably the best overall athlete on the team, and he's frequently having to guard the opposition's #1 player.
And he's a guy that was has tasted that success, was on the state championship team a couple years ago, so he knows what it takes to win it.
A 4-year starter. And Jordan Roth was the 6th man on that championship team from 2000. Had a critical dunk in the final minutes of that ball game, which sealed the deal for the Cardinals. From the corner, a long shot is up and down by Linehan. A 3-ball by Michael Linehan. And it's a 1-point basketball game, 15-14 Pleasant Plains.
Yeah, I mean, they run that motion offense. They sort of lull you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they nail the 3-pointer. That's the 2nd time they've done that.
Working the baseline is Edmondson, and there's going to be a foul, a blocking foul is going to be called on Lello. Big-time collision underneath the basket.
Well, that's one of the few times they've been able to slash to the basket without anybody in their face. And again, it was a breakdown. They did a nice job of rotating the basketball. We talked about patience. There the Cardinals did it. They swung it from one side to the other. When they did that, they were able to penetrate and get into that zone.
And Edmondson, who has that very quick first step, now to the free throw line. And now Tyler Newberry is going to re-enter the basketball game for Central Catholic, and he'll send William Brady to Kevin Brown's bench. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger, Lee Hall with you here at Carver Arena in Peoria. 3rd state quarterfinal of the day. One more to go after this. It's Central Catholic and it's Pleasant Plains, and it's 16-14 in favor of Pleasant Plains. Timeout on the floor. We're right back with more from Carver Arena after these messages.
Okay, Jordan Roth. Jordan Roth, he was a member of the team in 2000 and was on a state championship team. I remember the dunk he had towards the end of the game that kind of iced it for us. And this year he's been a very instrumental player for us. He's averaging close to 17 points a game, 10 rebounds. He's a very unselfish player. We have a pretty balanced team, and Jordan leads the attack, and he's just such a smart player on the floor. He's at 6'7". He has the ability to shoot the ball outside, handles the ball for us quite a bit. He's also one of our better post players, so he has kind of the advantage of having the inside and outside game for us. So that provides a lot of help for us.
Cliff Cameron tucking up Jordan Roth. Again, 17 points and 10 rebounds a game, and he went over the 1,000-point mark in his career in the sectionals. Both he and Ryan Sunley have 1,000-point scoring careers at Pleasant Plains. That's awfully nice to have 2 potent scoring potential guys on your floor at the same time.
And Kurt, like you talked about, both these guys have won the state championship, been on that team. So not only do they bring all that, but they bring that leadership, that ability where we've been there. Guys listen to them on the court.
Richie Long from the outside, and we are tied at 16.
Well, it's just amazing to watch these kids just compete out there. I mean, anytime they just step up there, they're playing with nothing to lose and just so loose out there. Central
Catholic shooting an even 50% from the field now, 7 of 14. Backdoor play. Roth gets it on a nice feed that time from Alsmeyer.
Great vision by Alsmeyer. Very difficult pass to throw that into the interior when you're almost 30 feet from the basket. Put a lot of zip on it.
Jordan Roth now with 6 points leads his team in scoring. Lenahan and Lello with 6 apiece for the Saints. 18-16. Pleasant Plains with a 2-point lead. Now it's Tyler Newberry. His shot is no good. Chased into the corner by Lenahan. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Saints.
Right now, the Central Catholic doing a good job on the boards. They're out rebounding Pleasant Plains 9-6 for the game, but 3 of those rebounds have been offensive rebounds, where on the other end, the Cardinals have 0 offensive rebounds. So right now, good fundamental basketball by the Saints.
And Pleasant Plains has switched from its zone into a man and a traveling call against Richie Long, and that's turnover number 6 for the Saints.
They switched to defense there, confused Central Catholic. Richie Long came out, thought they were more into a zone, tried to penetrate it, went to man-to-man.
Ryan Sunley, Joey Alsmeyer, Jordan Roth, Joe Miles and John Edmondson are on the floor right now for the Cardinals. Long shot, no good. Edmondson tries to track it down, and it's going to be an over and back. Central Catholic on the floor right now. Micah Lenahan, Richie Long, Ryan Sheets was just checked in, Tyler Newberry, and Raymond Lella checked that, and William Brady on the floor right now for BCC. Crossover dribble by Sheets, quick move off the glass and in, and we're tied again at 18.
Ryan Sheets out of nowhere, just nice crossover, pulls up over.
Sunley hangs, fires, drew the foul. He'll get to the free throw line.
Once they get that ball inside, good things happen, but it's very difficult against Central Catholic to get it in there. You got to have a lot of patience. And defensively, they're very quick. They move their feet. And you've got to really reverse that basketball if you want it, maybe once or twice in order to get what you want.
Pleasant Plains is an excellent foul shooting team. 78% as Kevin Brown looks on.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, Kirk. Teams shooting that well from them. It's almost 80%.
Opposite direction. Central Catholic started the season 1-9, but has now won 8 of its last 9.
You just had to jinx them, though, didn't you?
Yeah. That's the way it always is when you start talking about free throw shooters. You put them at the foul line, the announcers start talking about how good they are at the foul stripe, and they don't make it.
That play-by-play karma gets them every time.
19-18. Pleasant Plains a 1-point lead. Central Catholic with a basketball. Long thought about the three, dribbled in, spins on Sunley, hangs, fires, missed the shot, tipped up, and this time corralled by Jordan Roth. Central Catholic got a couple of good cracks at it. William Brady couldn't cash in on the offensive board. 2.5 to go till halftime. Pleasant Plains with a 1-point lead in the basketball. Saints stay in their man-to-man defense. Here's Roth, and a foul is going to be out. It's going to be on the floor, and it looks like it's going to be on Lenahan or Sheets. Yep, Michael Lenahan. His first and the third team foul on the Saints. Not many whistles as far as fouls are concerned here in the first half. It's been a
very clean game. I mean, both teams defensively really moving their feet, and you can tell that both coaches really stress the fundamentals defensively.
Edmondson tried quickly to snap the ball into Sunley, but Ray Lella just knocked it right out of bounds for the Saints. Matt Bryant is checking the game for Pleasant Plains. Backdoor again, intended for Edmondson, but he slipped it out of his hands and out of bounds. That's a turnover, the 6th one of the night for Pleasant Plains.
See Pleasant Plains come out now with more of a three-quarters trapping, not a full court.
And a drag of the foot by Ryan Sheets is a traveling violation.
Again, they had nobody in the middle of the basket, in the middle of the court, and he didn't have anywhere to go with that pass. Picks up his dribble. Got to keep your dribble if you're a guard. Don't give that up. And when he did, he had nowhere to go, and he gets caught for traveling.
That's the Saints' 7th turnover here in the first half.
It's very important for your guards to step up and tell people where to go. And sometimes when you're younger, you're a junior or a sophomore, it's tough to do that.
Pass picked off that time by Sheets. He's going to take it all the way down. He finds Richie Long.
Great pass out of nowhere.
Long couldn't do anything with it because there were guys who were 6 inches taller than him just waiting for him to put the shot up.
Good idea. Good. Again, another good decision. Don't try to force it. Brings it back out.
Boy, Sheets has a great crossover dribble for the Saints. That's him with the basketball now. Kevin Brown, the Saints coach, telling his guys to bring it out and bring it back, and they're going to space the floor out here. So Richie Long just yo-yos at the timeline here at half court as we approach the 1-minute mark left here in the quarter. Lenahan spinning and drawing a foul. He was probably fortunate. He was really caught in a bad situation there, Doug, but he drew the contact.
Yeah, he was out of control. Gets the baseline, no help there, able to penetrate it. Gets out of control, tries to do a reverse layup there. No one's there. And Jordan Roth let him off the hook by really being at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, it wasn't that much he could do about that, but did draw the contact.
Lenahan at 86% is an excellent foul shooter for the Saints. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, his father, John, took a Bloomington Central Catholic team to the state quarterfinals in the '70s, and now it's his son doing it here in 2002. Father-son combo for the Saints. And Lenahan has given the Saints their first lead of the night. It's 20-19, Bloomington Central Catholic.
And now the Saints come out with a little three-quarters press, change it up to try to surprise Pleasant Plains.
Suki scores down low.
Boy, looking for an offensive charge there. Use that left arm extension and clear them out, but no call.
You saw that graphic that Pleasant Plains has a handful of games in which they've scored 80 points. They had a 94-point effort earlier this season against Divernon, but here in the first half have been held to 21 points.
They're going to have to forget that. This is going to be one of those games where it's, you know, a 5-point lead is like a 10-point lead.
Half-minute left to go here, opening half of the third state Class A quarterfinal in Peoria. Pleasant Plains leading Central Catholic 21-20, but the Saints have the basketball and would like the opportunity to go into the locker room with the last chance, the last shot, and it's going to be a foul that time out on the perimeter, whistled against Matt Bryan of Pleasant Plains, who ran over Michael Lenahan as Lenahan was setting the screen.
And that's just a lack of communication. Someone's got to step up, tell him where the picker is. There's no one there, and that's why he runs over the guy. Right there, Ryan Sunley has to let his guy know his screener's coming up to set that screen. And sometimes it's hard when you in this environment, the crowd's so loud, even if you yell, it's hard to hear.
Now under 20 seconds to go, and the Saints again content on holding for the final shot. Sheets, 6 seconds. Baseline, hanging, firing, and scoring is Raymond Lello. Cinderella has a 1-point lead. Central Catholic leading Pleasant Plains 22-21. Let's take a look at that last sequence again, Doug.
Well, we talked about these guys getting in their half-court set, and they've been able to do that, control the tempo, and they've been getting the shots that they need down the stretch.
And you remember that they scored 4 points in the final seconds of the first quarter and a basket at the end of the half. And Lee Hall is standing by with the coach that has a 1-point halftime lead, Kevin Brown.
All right, Kurt, thanks a lot, Coach. Kind of a slow start there for your guys. Looked like Pleasant Plains was going to really give you a hard time with that press, but you guys stepped right up there.
Yeah, we got to continue to look down the floor. We just want to look back and forth. It's pretty easy to press a team that won't look down the floor. We got it corrected now, and we're all right with that, I think. You know, it's about the worst half of basketball we've played in a while, so we've got to come out and execute and do some things a little bit better in the second half, get some better post play.
Pleasant Plains was able to shoot a pretty good percentage there in the first half.
They were, and you know, we let them get to the basket a little bit more than we like. We'll go in and talk about that.
All right, good luck to you second half.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Kevin Brown, head coach of the Central Catholic Saints. Kurt, back to you.
All right, Lee. Boy, if he thinks that's one of their worst halves of basketball, hey, buckle up and stay tuned for the second half. Central Catholic leads Pleasant Plains 22-21 in the state quarterfinals here at Carver Arena in Peoria. More from Carver Arena when we come back.
And we are back at Carver Arena, 22-21, our halftime score. The Central Catholic Saints with a 1-point lead over Pleasant Plains, the highest ranked team still left in the tournament. Now that Robinson lost earlier this afternoon, we are with Central Catholic Athletic Director John Snyder, longtime head coach. You got things started for the Saints back in the 70s, brought them to the Elite Eight 3 times. Pretty good first half. Coach Brown said it was the worst half they played in a long time, but they've got a 1-point lead.
Well, Lee, they find a way to get it done. You know, they were 9-1 at one point, and then they won the last 6 in a row. And you know, it's a team that there's no big kids out there. They don't shoot the ball very well. They don't shoot free throws very well. But there's some intangible, something, you know. They just believe in themselves, and that's pretty important in sports.
Well, I asked a couple of the kids this yesterday. Of course, we cover Central Catholic on a regular basis here in Peoria, and there's just something special about the kids that go to your school, and I can't really put my finger on it, but you say it's kind of an intangible thing, but They never quit. They never give up. We see it in football a lot. We haven't seen it, at least in the Elite Eight in basketball, in quite a while. But your kids, the Saints, I mean, there's just something about them. They don't step down from anybody, step back from anyone.
Well, it's always been us against the world, you know. We're the smallest school in the Corn Belt Conference, you know, and a lot of times with not much size and, you know, kids, they have an attitude, Lee, that, you know, they can get it done. And that's pretty important, like I say before, in sports. You know, throughout the 39 years of coaching, I had a lot of teams that were average teams, but they thought they could win when it came to the season, especially at tournament time. They thought they could win. So that carries on over, you know, through the years. And I'm so happy that after 26 years they're back here. Let's hope they, you know, go further than I did, you know, right, 3 times and not get in the next game.
Tell me what you remember about those trips to state, 73, 76, 79. You made it to the Elite Eight and had to leave after the first game.
You know, in 73, we had a team that could win the state tournament. And if you recall, we canceled our sectional championship game on Friday night with that Linock case. We played our sectional championship on Monday. We played a super sectional on Tuesday. And I got 2 kids injured. Bradley was averaging 30 a game going down to Champaign. He had a concussion. Another kid with a broken toe. And we lost by 2 to Venice by 58-56. And that was a shame because we had I had 3 kids who went on to play college basketball on that basketball team. I look at it today, I look at that team, and how are these guys going to guard them, you know, but I don't know, you know.
How many career wins did you end up with? Over 500, wasn't it?
560.
Well, I saw one game you coached. It wasn't a win up in Rock Island many years ago when I was going to college with your son.
I wish I could play that one again. Duncan Reed, I didn't know what was going on. We're getting crunched. And everybody's going nuts. This kid was breaking that field house record. If I knew that, I had 5 guys guarding him. He can score 100 if he wants. Yeah, I remember that one.
Had to bring that one up, John. All right, John. John Snyder, athletic director at Bloomington Central Catholic, took the Saints to 3 Elite Eight berths back in the 70s. Kevin Brown says these kids see those banners hanging in the pit, their gym over in Bloomington. They want to bring back one that says Final Four or maybe better. We'll be back with more from Carver Arena after this local break.
The Bloomington Central Catholic Saints have a 22-21 lead over the Pleasant Plain Cardinals here at Carver Arena in the 3rd state quarterfinal of the night here in Peoria. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger back with you. What else can we say? But Cinderella is still dancing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that first half, they just came out, and I like what their coach said. You know, we didn't play that great, and in the first half, we got to play better in the second half. So he's sort of setting the bar, and these kids are really responding, and they don't care that they're 15-15, that they're playing against one of probably the better teams in the whole state. I mean, like we talked about, I mean, they're coming out very aggressive. I thought they did everything they needed to do. They made it more of a half-court game, was able to handle the pressure that Pleasant Plains tried to put on them, and I thought their guards were really key for them. I mean, they were able to control that tempo.
And I think it was important that after turning the basketball over as quickly as they did those first couple of possessions, they really calmed down. They found a way to break that press, and now they're leading by a point at halftime.
And they did a great job. I mean, you look at but defensively is where they're getting it. And right now, you know, the way the score is, it's just everything is going their way right now. It's important for them to come out here in the second half, the first 2 or 3 possessions here in the 3rd quarter, and really establish themselves. A lot of head coaches, great ones, say you come out at halftime, reestablish that yourself, and they need to do that. that.
Let's take a look at these first half statistics that had the Saints in front of the Cardinals 22-21. The shooting percentages, 9 of 16 for Pleasant Plains and 9 of 19 for Central Catholic. So both teams are getting it done from the floor, and the free throws you see are the same, Doug. Then you start going down here. The rebounding total favors the Saints. So does the assist total.
Well, the key in the rebounding is Central Catholic 4 offensive rebounds, and that's really helped them here in the first 2 quarters.
All even in turnovers. Pleasant Plains has the only block. They're even in steals, and Pleasant Plains doubled the fouls, but really we didn't see foul trouble at all in that first half. As far as the individual scoring is concerned, Roth has 6 points. There's a guy who's averaging better than 17, so the Saints have done a nice job on him. Albsmeyer and Edmondson each with 5, and then Central Catholic has Lello and Lenahan, their 2 1-2 punch guys with 8 apiece. And again, you're talking about Pleasant Plains, a team that has 4 guys that average in double figures in scoring. Central Catholic doesn't have anybody that averages in double figures in scoring.
Well, you talked about Roth. He only has 3 attempts. He's 3 for 3. When a guy's shooting 1,000%, I mean, perfect. Get him the ball more, and they need to get to him established more offensively. Central Catholic really doesn't have anybody that can match up against him.
22-21, Central Catholic with a halftime lead. Third quarter action right around the corner after these messages and a word from your local stations.
(22-21) our halftime score. Central Catholic leading Pleasant Plains. We're with Cliff Cameron, the coach of the Cardinals. Coach, what did you tell your team at halftime?
Oh, we got to come out the second half, play with a lot more enthusiasm and intensity, because this team right here has been in this situation for 5 or 6 games. There have been surprises some teams, and playing with some teams that the other teams may think they're better, but this team has a great storyline behind them. And I think the longer we let them stay in the game and stay close, we're going to keep building their confidence. So hopefully we get off to a better jump this third quarter.
All right, Coach, good luck to you. Back to you, Kurt. Thanks.
All right, Lee. Let's take a look at some of those first half highlights that shaped the way that we are at halftime. Nice backdoor play here. And initially, early at least, Doug, it was Pleasant Plains that was scoring off the turnovers and the backdoor way.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about his head coach playing more intensely the first 4 minutes and played with that sense of urgency. They need to do that here in the second half.
And certainly after BCC had kind of stemmed the tide from Pleasant Plains, and the Saints came back. It was Lenahan from the outside and Lello on the inside, and William Brady scoring right there. And right now, Central Catholic's Saints have a 22-21 halftime lead over the Cardinals of Pleasant Plains. Third quarter action right around the corner. We're back after these messages. What? It's a big weekend here at Carver Arena, not only because of the state championships, but also we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Hebron's 1952 victory, that memorable victory by a small school, the Giants winning. And right now, Central Catholic is trying to be a giant killer. They have a 22-21 lead as we open play here in the third quarter against a very good Pleasant Plains basketball team. From the outside, a 3 balls up and down by Michael Lenahan, and it's a 4-point Saints lead, their largest of the night.
Kurt, we talked about them coming out, being very assertive offensively, and they've done that.
Sunley the miss, and it's cleared now by Raymond Lello. And I think that Cliff Cameron made an excellent point in that interview. The longer the Saints hang around in this game, the longer they're there, the more confidence they get, and the harder it's going to be to chop them down.
You got to believe, and as the game goes along, your confidence starts to surge, and you can start to see these guys feeling much more comfortable right now, especially offensively.
Now Lello working on Sunley. Almost lost the ball, gives it back out to Richie Long, their senior point guard. Now from the other side of the floor, the outside jumper is good by William Brady.
Everything's going in for him now.
And the Saints close the first half of the basket and are now opened with 5 quick points here in the third quarter. Now on the other end, it's Joe Miles. His shot is no good, but it's tipped out nicely that time by Sunley and out to Albsmeyer. And so they'll reset the offense for the Cardinals.
But Cardinals really having a hard time offensive, trying to figure out what they can run, what they can be successful. Central Catholic's just taking everything away.
Offensive foul. That time whistled against John Edmondson. And I know that you mentioned earlier in the game that you thought that he may have pushed off with his hand, Doug. That time he was caught.
Yeah, that was right in front of the official. He couldn't miss that one. And no question about it, got that left arm extended. And once you do that, you push off like that, every time they're going to call a charge.
6-point Saints lead as Richie Long walks the ball up the floor. And this is exactly what Central Catholic has done in all of its postseason games. Hang around, get confidence, and win the game. And that's the reason why when you're looking at their record, you say, how is a team 15-15 at the state tournament? This is the reason why. The team started out 1-9, but has turned it on here in the postseason. Lenahan for 3 in front of his bench.
I mean, that was great defense. He just put an extra arch on it. Oh, this is unbelievable.
And Michael Lenahan, who's a 27% three-point shooter, has given his team a 9-point lead. But now, after that foul, it's going to be Edmondson going to the free throw line for Pleasant Plains.
You know, we talked about good defense. I mean, there was great defense. They're all in there. I mean, he was right in his face.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he just hit that. I mean, what a tough shot.
And so John Edmondson, the junior, 6'5", 160, good-looking ball player, to the foul line. Pleasant Plains right now is trying to shake the cobwebs out. That's the first point in the second half for the Cardinals. And now full court pressure by Pleasant Plains. And it's a 5-second call, so immediately Pleasant Plains cashes in by putting that full court pressure on. Gets Central Catholic to turn the basketball over. And now Ryan Sheets, one of the better ball handlers, comes in the game for BCC.
Well, what happens is a lot of times Pleasant Plains will come out, throw that hard full court press at. Then they'll sometimes come soft. And as guards, you've got to recognize. And you got to get your big guys up when that happens.
Roth's pass intended for Edmondson is picked off that time by William Brady. And now Central Catholic comes back with it. 9th turnover for Pleasant Plains.
Now you can start to see the Cardinals get very frustrated offensively. Things aren't quite going the way they thought they should go. Good patience by the Saints. See, just very much under control. Don't try to force it.
Lenahan's the guy with the hot hand, but he traveled that time.
See Kevin Brown right there, calming his guys down. You know, let's not get too carried away out there. Hit some big shots, but you know, let's still play under control.
As we come up on the 5-minute mark left here, third quarter. Central Catholic has outscored Pleasant Plains 8-1 in the opening minutes here of the third quarter. A 3-ball from the outside by Albsmeyer is missed, and it's cleared by Central Catholic's Raymond Lello.
Yeah, Pleasant Plains 1 for 7 from three-point land, and again, they're really struggling from the perimeter, and Central Catholic knows that. They're going to make them beat them from the perimeter.
Sheets is down and fouled in the paint. He loves to drive the basketball right to the hoop.
Well, they've got the speed and quickness. I mean, if the Cardinals come out, try to play in those passing lanes, they're able to penetrate that. The quick guards for Central Catholic, they have no problem with that pressure right now.
Timeout on the floor. Central Catholic with an 8-point lead over Pleasant Plains, 30-22. Back with more after these messages and a word from your local stations.
There's no doubt about it. You know, we were 10-15 coming in the regionals. We were the underdog the first time we played. This is nothing new to us. You know, we came over here to win. We didn't just come to play in this thing.
All right, we are with Tyler Kastner, who won a state title with Pleasant Plains a couple of years ago in the very rowdy Cardinal student section. Your team's having a tough time getting a shot down here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's you know, the Saints are playing tough right now. You know, they're playing really good defense right now, but, you know, I got faith in our guys. You know, they've fought through adversity all year, so, you know, I got faith in them right now.
How important is it for you as a former state champ to be here tonight and support your alma mater?
Oh, it's big for me, you know. I know these guys. I talked to these guys before, you know, and I'm proud of these guys for getting here, for what they've gone through, you know, with everybody focused a lot on Dusty. But, you know, these guys have earned it, and it's their year right now. So I'm proud of these guys.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Tyler Kastner, 2000 state champion, rooting his team on here, and they need a comeback, and that one will help right there. Back to you, Kurt.
All right, Lee. Ryan Sunley, the hoop and the foul for Pleasant Plains. William Brady scored for Central Catholic while we were inside that interview, so Sunley with an opportunity to make it a three-point play, and that's the first field goal here in the second half for Pleasant Plains.
And Kurt, you talked about Ryan Sunley. He's a guy that probably the coach's staff looks for leadership from this guy, and he's been awfully quiet so far in this game. And you know, he needs to step up and specifically offensively for these guys, get something on track, because right now Central Catholic is just putting the clamps on Jordan Roth.
So Sunley makes good, hitting the free throw, the three-point play. He now has 6 points. He has tied Jordan Roth for team high honors in scoring. 32-25, the Central Catholic lead. Saints with the ball now in the front court. Lello thought about that shot, but thought better of it and brought it back out. Now Richie Long has it. 4 minutes to go here, halfway through the third quarter. 7-point Saints lead. From the outside, it's up and down by Ryan Sheets.
Ryan Sheets is playing the game of his life. I mean, right now, he's just doing everything right. I mean,
Sunley hangs, fires, missed, tipped out. Jordan Roth there to put it in. And Pleasant Plains is pounding the glass, trying to score his points off the backboard, and now a traveling violation whistled against Richie Long.
see, what needs to happen for Central Catholic? What gets them in trouble when all their big guys run down at the other end? Got to look up court, but sometimes it's hard when you're in a double team. Got to come back, help your teammates, especially get in the middle of the court.
Here's Roth spinning and shooting and missing. And Lello clears for the Saints.
A strong rebound by Lello. He went up there with a bunch of red jerseys and just ripped it down. Again, you see the patience by Central Catholic. Brings it back out.
Long. On the baseline, terrific move that time by William Brady. Now from the outside, it's Almsmeyer who answers. Back and forth we go. Now Lenahan, 3-on-1 if he wants it, and it's going to be a reach-in foul that time against Pleasant Plains.
That was a good foul because they had the numbers. Joe Miles recognized that, and they'll take the ball out of bounds, but it was a 3-on-1 there in the transition.
Let's take a look at the nice Central Catholic play in the half-court offense just a moment ago.
We talked about them handling the basketball. Again, he breaks down the interior. When the ball goes in like that, you look for those big guys on the blocks, and they need to cut to that basket. You couldn't diagram that play any better.
Yeah, Brady and Lello have been the recipients of some nice penetration by the guards, and they've had some easy baskets down low. Terrific baskets.
And give credit to Richie Long. He's playing this game. He's only got one turnover with all that pressure going on. Guys just handling the basketball for him right now. And the Cardinals are doing everything they can to try to get him to rush, but he just won't. He's just too disciplined out there.
Jordan Edmondson, he gets whistled for the foul. He's bodying up on Michael Lenahan.
And that's the fourth foul on the Cardinals right now. A couple more and they're in the bonus.
Under 2.5 to play here, third quarter. It's a 7-point Saints lead, 37-30. Third third state quarterfinal game here in Peoria. The first game of the day was won by Heron over Farmington. The second game in overtime, a terrific basketball game won by Tolono Unity as they knocked out Robinson. This is game number 3. We've got one more game tonight.
And both those games, you could say they were upsets. Heron and Unity. A lot of the experts thought that it would go the other way. So we've got another one here in the making.
Sheets penetrates, kick out. Lenahan for 3.
Oh,
missed it.
Another.
And a tie-up on the loose ball and an alternate possession. It's going to go to Pleasant Plains. That's the first three-point shot of the third quarter missed by the Saints. They hit their first 3. Now they're 3 out of 4 from beyond the three-point arc.
And again, Ryan Sheets and Richie Long, both those guys break down from the perimeter. And what's happening is that breakdown defensively by the Cardinals, someone's got to step up and help. And so far, Central Catholic's made them pay every time.
And for as well as Central Catholic has played in the third quarter, let's face it, Pleasant Plains is only a couple of baskets away from being right on their heels again. It's just a 7-point basketball game. Got to foul away from the basketball this time, and it's going to be whistled against William Brady of Central Catholic. And now we're seeing Dino Davis check in the game for the Saints, and he'll send Ryan Sheets back to the bench. Tyler Newberry will check in as well for the Saints.
You know, if I'm the Cardinals, love to get Joey Altsmeyer more involved offensively. You know, he's a guy that he could bring you back in this game real quick with that three-point ability.
There's your man Altsmeyer from the corner. He's got an opportunity to make it a 4-point play as he's fouled on the three-point shot.
We just talked about him, and again, nice ball reversal. That's what sets it all up. And they're late getting out there. Newberry just has got to guard 2 guys. He's got to give something up. They're slow on the transition, and he buries it and goes for the 4-point play.
Just like you thought might happen. Pleasant Plains calls Joey Altsmeyer's number. He cashes in and makes it a 4-point play, and what a big, big play that one could turn out to be. And now a steal in the backcourt. Matt Bryant comes away as the Pleasant Plains pressure yields a steal. And now it's Altsmeyer, a 3 from the other side of the floor. It's no good, and it's chased down by Bryant. Nicely done. He saved it to Roth.
Now Pleasant Plains is starting to play with the intensity that Cliff Hammond wanted one of these guys to. A sense of urgency right now.
Roth left open for 3.
Oh.
Missed the shot, tipped out. Pleasant Plains is going to get it again. As a traveling violation is whistled against the Saints' Michael Lenahan. He didn't have control of it on the floor.
Well, up until a couple minutes ago, Central Catholic doing a great job on the boards. You had Lello, Brady, and Lenahan, all those guys, you know, doing a good job of blocking out. And right now, Pleasant Plains starting to find some success on the offensive boards.
Under a minute to go here, third quarter. Altsmeyer for 3. This time he airballed it.
That's okay. If I'm the coach, I want him shooting a little bit more often, get some good looks, because there's not much down low.
And a shooter like that, all it takes is 1 or 2 makes, and you get him streaky, and it's Katie bar the door.
Well, he is open. I mean, he's got to go up there. Don't think about it. Just go up there and shoot. Just react.
Richie Long lost the dribble and had to give it up that time to Dino Davis, and who got turned the ball over. On the other end, it's Sunley all the way down. He laid it in. It's a 1-point basketball game. Final seconds, third quarter. Six to shoot. From the corner, Newberry. He missed the shot, and we're done with 3. And a ferocious Pleasant Plains rally at the end of the third quarter has pulled the Cardinals to within 1. 8 minutes of basketball left here at Carver Arena in the state quarterfinals. Bloomington Central Catholic 37, Pleasant Plains 36. Don't go anywhere. Fourth quarter action when we come back.
Hey, we're back at Carver Arena. 37-36 Central Catholic with a 1-point lead. Cinderella's still dancing, but I think these folks don't believe in Cinderella. Are you guys going to come back and win this or what?
I sure hope so.
What's your name?
Rachel.
All right, Rachel. How come you guys haven't sat down yet?
Oh, we're true Plains fans over here.
They say the clock is ticking on Cinderella. Central Catholic doesn't agree, and I can't hear a word I'm saying. Back to you, Kurt.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like it when Lee's in that predicament. 8 minutes of basketball left. Fourth quarter ready to tip off. And Pleasant Plains' ferocious rally at the end of the third quarter has pulled the Cardinals within 1.
Yeah, and give Joey Alsmeyer and Ryan Sunley, both those guys really picked it up there in the third quarter. Alsmeyer with the 3 points and Sunley with some critical steals down the stretch here.
Well, it was a 1-point Central Catholic lead at halftime, and now a 1-point Central Catholic lead as we start the fourth quarter. And from the baseline, William Brady, cold as ice. That guy's just been terrific there. Ice water in his veins from the baseline.
Yeah, he's, I mean, he loves that baseline, that little 15-foot jump shot. And you've got it, by now, you've got to recognize that and try to take that away from him.
Sunley tries to answer, and he does.
What a tough shot inside.
In traffic. It's Ryan Sunley, and now the double team. And a held ball. And it's going to go to Pleasant Plains.
Kurt, right now, they're getting the ball in the worst position that he can. Right in the corners on either side. Try to get that ball in the middle of the court where it's very much more difficult to double team. And when they do, they pay the price. But right now, that's right where you want the guy. Then everybody gets their spacing position and got to get that ball in a better position.
14 turnovers now for Central Catholic, and I'm sure that's one area that Kevin Brown wishes that his team would do a better job, and that's handling the basketball, especially off the pressure. Sunley, offensive board.
Tough rebound right there.
But it's going to be waved off. Foul was before the shot. How about our third quarter stats now? These are the stats through the first 24 minutes of play. You see that Pleasant Plains has 14 field goals, while Central Catholic has 15. Free throws favoring Plains, and the three-point shot favoring Central Catholic, but the rebounds are essentially the same. The assists go towards the Saints. That's why it's been such an even game. And now another turnover, and this time the Saints are going to benefit.
And Central Catholic had 7 turnovers in the first 2 quarters. There in the third quarter, they had a total of 7 just in there. So, Kurt, like you talked about, handling that basketball, all of a sudden it's become a weakness for him.
And now another turnover. Sunley the steal. Jordan Roth all the way down. And Pleasant Plains is back in front. And Kevin Brown, who wanted a timeout before the actual turnover happened, finally gets it.
That was a good timeout by Kevin Brown. Maybe want to burn through a couple right now. Try to slow down. Right now, Old Mo is with the Cardinals, and he's got to figure out this press right now. He's upset with those guys right now because he was telling them, hey, listen, you did it for the first half of the game. Don't lose your composure. Hey, who's that guy right there?
Who is that man?
That's the Honorable Judge William Altenberger.
Huh. You know, the reason why the name Altenberger carries some clout in this town is not necessarily because of the guy that I'm working with. I think it's because of that man that you're seeing on the television. But here's his offspring, and this guy's done a wonderful job, a former Peoria Richwood standout and fighting a Illini ball player, too.
And we were talking about last night about Hebron and the Judsons and one of his fraternity brothers, a guy named Bruce Brothers, who played on Quincy, played on that championship game against Hebron. So it was fun. We were reminiscing last night. All those guys went down to play at Illinois, University of Illinois.
And boy, I tell you what, the Saints have their work cut out for them trying to break this pressure again. Pleasant Plains has really turned the screws on Central Catholic, but the Saints do a very, very effective job in getting it across the timeline there. Now Lenahan open for 3.
Jump shot right there.
Missed it. And Jordan Roth has fouled in the backcourt by Ryan Sheets. That's his first and the 6th on the Saints here in the second half.
Now, William Brady's, trying to encourage his guys right now. Let's not get down. We're only down 1, and we've got 6.5 minutes to go. So See a guy there showing a little leadership out there. That's what you need. You need guys to step up and accept the assignment.
Pleasant Plains has doubled the amount of steals of Central Catholic. The Cardinals have 6, the Saints have 3. Sunley gives it up to Bryant. And we've got a traveling violation called against Pleasant Plains. 26 turnovers in the game, 15 for Central Catholic and 11 for Pleasant Plains.
It's very important for Central Catholic not to get passive. If they've got the numbers, if they beat them down the court, take it to the hole, be very aggressive.
And now the last 2 trips down the floor, the Saints have done a very nice job in breaking that pressure. Just like you draw it up off the chalkboard. 1 point Pleasant Plains lead, Saints with the basketball. Here's Brady. Now Lella. Drop down pass to Lenahan. In traffic. Missed the shot and cleared by Ryan Sunley.
Those went down the first 3 quarters right now.
And now Cliff Cameron of the Cardinals has been granted a 30-second timeout.
So we talked about execution down the stretch. It's very important. Both teams. No one's going to blow anybody out here. And you see Cliff Cameron, that's what he's telling us guys. He wants to run a nice, clean offensive set. Let's make sure the guys are organized. On that last possession, Kurt, Mark Bryant got called for traveling, so you want to make sure that, again, every possession when you're playing a team like Central Catholic, got to be fundamentally sound offensively, try to run something.
And we remind you that the final state quarterfinal of the night comes up next. Bureau Valley and Providence St. Mel. Jim Albrecht, Matt Taphorn will give you those calls.
And boy, these first 3 have been, I mean,
terrific. It all sets the stage for the semifinals tomorrow starting at 11:15 and the state championship game at 8:15 tomorrow night, live here on the IHSA television network from Carver Arena in Peoria. Boy, Pleasant Plains really felt like it had something to prove this year. The Dusty Benchko era is over. He helped them win a state championship in 2000. They fell in the super sectionals to Macomb last year, and this year made it all the way back. A lot of people didn't think they could do it. They have something to prove, and now they're trying to prove that they belong in the semifinals. Sunley in traffic, missed the shot, got his rebound, and got fouled. I can read Kevin Brown's lips from here. The Central Catholic coach is saying nobody boxing out on the rebound.
Well, what happened there is they were overplaying on the perimeter, especially on Albsmeyer. They didn't want him to get the basketball, so there was no one able to help out defensively down low, and Sunley does a good job of crashing those offensive boards. He's got, so far in the game, he's been very successful here. He's got 3 offensive rebounds here in the second half.
And he's 3 out of 4 from the foul line, trying to make it 4 out of 5. But he missed it, so he's 3 out of 5. But it's Jordan Roth who gets the offensive board and the stick back. So that turned into a 3-point possession. And again, the full court pressure causing the Saints all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, Ryan Sheets gets that ball, and he's only about 5'9", and he had 2 guys of over 6'4", 6'5" on him. There didn't see much daylight in there.
And you got the long arms of 6'7" Jordan Roth at the point. He's the point man of that press. Loose ball on the floor. Richie Long came away with it. He was tied up that time by Ryan Sunley. Alternating possession. It's going to be Central Catholics.
Well, I like Matt Bryant coming off the bench has really brought some fresh legs to this team and very explosive. And here you see he gets right in there, forces the turnover, stays with it, great hustle, dives, sells out. It becomes a soccer game.
Yeah, he suddenly became Pele, did Richie Long, to kind of pull that ball into it. Boy, both these teams playing tooth and nail. There you see the turnover story. Again, the Saints with 15 and the Cardinals with 11. And Kevin Brown is trying to rally his troops. Central Catholic at 1 point ripped out of the gates at the start of the second half and had an 8-point lead. Now the Saints trail the Cardinals 43-39.
And the Cardinals really forcing some turnovers. 8 so far in a quarter and a half.
Lenahan, who hit his first 2 shots in the second half, is now over his last 3.
Yeah, and those shots that went down before are now starting to be a little bit more difficult to get off.
And that's going to be a turnover that time as Matt Bryant palm the basketball. Timeout on the floor. Let's step aside here from Carver Arena, where Pleasant Plains has a 43-39 lead over Bloomington Central Catholic. More from Peoria in a minute. And right now, with 4:44 to go here in regulation, it's Pleasant Plains 43 and Bloomington Central Catholic 39. We are live at Carver Arena in Peoria. Class A quarterfinals. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger, Lee Hall with you. This is the game in which everybody said Cinderella has come to the ball. In case you've just joined us, Bloomington Central Catholic, a team which started the postseason with a 10-15 record, has won 6 consecutive games. The final game of the regular season, 5 games of the postseason, to post a 15-15 record. The only team without a winning record here in the state Elite Eight. And at one point, the Saints had an 8-point lead. Cinderella looked in good shape. But Pleasant Plains has stormed back, and now it's the Cardinals with a 43-39 lead over BCC.
Yeah, if you're Central Catholic, you got to get the ball into Michael Lenahan's hands. He's got to get some shots off. So far, been a nice adjustment for the Cardinals. Been able to really deny him the basketball. Hasn't had too many touches here so far in the second half.
Sheets for 3. A huge shot for Central Catholic.
That was a shot in the arm for those guys. They needed somebody else to step up and knock down the 3. And Sheets, again, just having a monster game.
Well, Pleasant Plains is a team that averages 70 points a night. The Cardinals will not get there tonight, but certainly they would do anything they could do to advance. And an offensive, or I should say a defensive rebound that time by William Brady, and now Central Catholic has a chance to reclaim the lead. What a basketball game we're witnessing here at Carver Arena. And a foul that time out on the perimeter on Matt Bryant of Pleasant Plains.
And not a smart foul from the sophomore. Got in there, got a little too aggressive. Not going to take that ball away from a guy like Richie Long. He's going to protect it very well. And see Cliff Cameron taking him out of the game right now and putting in a little more a veteran in there with Edmondson.
Now it's Long looking inside. It goes around to Sheets. 1-point lead for Pleasant Plains. Central Catholic with the basketball. 3:30 to go here in regulation. We've already seen one overtime game here in the state quarterfinals. Will we see a second? Sheets crossover dribble all the way down, scoop it up. Drew the contact, no call. Jordan Roth clears for Pleasant Plains, and now it's Alsmeyer pushing the tempo up. It's Edmondson driving, hanging, firing, scoring. 3-point play opportunity.
Edmondson comes off the bench there. I mean, he was sitting on the bench. He's a starter, but I mean, he gets down the court, releases early on that quick shot, gets the numbers, goes up strong, hangs in the air, draws the contact, then able to finish off. Tough shot. Tough shot.
Boy, have we seen some baskets in traffic here, huh?
It's been a very physical game. Both the games that we've done. Unity game was a very physical game. Same thing here, low scoring, but tenacious defense by both teams.
45-42 now, a 3-point Plains lead as we approach the 3-minute mark left in this one. Sheets, bounce pass down low.
Again, tough shot, jackknifing through there. Really was a very unorthodox shot that released, but stayed with it, able to finish it off. And he's 5 for 6 for the game. He's got 10 points, goes up strong, draws that contact.
Lello is a guy that shoots better than 54% from the floor. He's an 81% free throw shooter. This guy knows how to score. And we are tied.
I got to tell you, I mean, when you look on paper, this is amazing that they're tied right now. And I don't mean that as a negative at all at Central Catholic, but
not at all. This is what March Madness is all about. Now it's Roth. Now Edmondson from the outside. Missed it. And Richie Long comes away with it. Under 2.5 to go here in regulation.
If you're Kevin Brown, you got to feel pretty good right now about your team. Good idea for a timeout.
Kevin Brown calls timeout for Central Catholic. Central Catholic has 3 timeouts now left, and Pleasant Plains will have 4.
He's got a very young team. I mean, even though these guys, you've got only 2 seniors that start, and you got Richie Long. I mean, you've got some other guys that come off the bench, and they're all young guys. So good idea by Kevin Brown. You want to sort of offensively settle these guys down and just say, you know what, right now it's about 2.5 minutes to go. We're tied. Let's take our time offensively. We do not have to rush anything. Want to run some sets for Lenahan or get the ball inside, like you said, the Lello guy who shoots over 50%. And then if you're Cliff Cameron on the other end, he's going to say, hey, guys, take your time. Don't panic.
All right, let's go sidelines now to Lee Hall.
All right, we're actually up in the stands, Kurt. We're with John Lenahan, played for the Saints back in '73 when they went to the Elite Eight. His son Michael's been out there knocking down some big shots. Are you more nervous now, or were you more nervous back in '73?
I'm more nervous now. You can't do much sitting in the stands but cheer. I'm very proud of the whole team. They've had a great finish to their season after starting real slow. Very proud of them.
What do you remember about your days on the floor for the Saints in '73 in the Elite Eight?
Well, we just had a great team. I think we came into the tournament ranked #1. We had a 2-year All-Stater in Mike Bradley and a lot of size, and just got beat by a great Venice team.
What words of wisdom did you have for Michael very quickly?
Just got to keep his head in the game and do the best he can. It's been a great game so far.
All right, good words to live by for the final 2:23. Back to you, Kurt.
And Michael Lenahan said that after his team won on Tuesday night in the normal super sectional, he and his father exchanged a very emotional hug, because it's now a father-son tandem that have led the Saints to the Elite Eight.
What a special moment, father-son. I mean, both of them can identify with a March Madness experience.
Another cold-blooded shot by William Brady. He's found a home on that side of the floor. And with under 2 minutes to go, the Central Catholic Saints have a 2-point lead. Now Roth, and a foul. It'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity.
When you look at Jordan Roth, 6 for 8 from the field, 12 points, but really offensively hasn't been able to establish himself very well. Central Catholic doing a good job. Even there, they had 2 white jerseys all over him, nowhere to go, and fortunately for him, he gets to the free throw line.
But Roth reads the free throw out. Brady chases down the rebound.
Well, right now, don't look to score, but still be aggressive. Look to go to the hole, but right now, the clock, you want to get some time off there and take your time. Good idea. Got in the spot there, picked up his dribble.
Timeout on the floor. Kevin Brown of Central Catholic calls timeout, so we'll step aside. His Saints lead the Cardinals of Pleasant Plains 47-45. Back with more in Peoria in a minute. We're glad to bring you these games along the IHSA television network. Take a look at some of the over-the-air outlets throughout the state, and now the cable outlets. They're bringing you the pictures and the sounds here from Carver Arena in Peoria. Side of the Class A tournament this weekend, the Class AA tournament next weekend. We've seen some terrific basketball here in the first 3 games of this quarterfinal, and now a steal that time by Pleasant Plains off the inbounds play.
Oh, a huge turnover right there for Central Catholic. Up by 2. They're coughing it up.
The 16th turnover of the game for the Saints, and certainly a costly one. A 2-point lead for the Saints now. Plains with the basketball. Jordan Roth from the foul line. Rimmed out. Can't get it. Loose ball on the floor. Still scrummed. Out of bounds to Pleasant Plains.
Central Cap coming out with a box and 1. They're face guarding Joey Albesmeyer, who's the zone buster. And right now, he's got to be real active and get through that zone and try to create something. The rest of the guys have got to recognize that, but the other 4 guys are playing the zone.
Every player on the floor right now is just out of gas, wringing wet, but this is just what it's all about as we approach the final minute of regulation. Roth has tied the game. And now Central Catholic breaks the pressure. And it's Dino Davis in trouble, but he gets the ball up to Sheets. 47 all, under 45 seconds to go.
Yeah, right now you want it in Sheets or Long's hand. Both those guys, excellent ball handlers. Be able to handle the pressure the whole game, and don't want to get called for a 5-second call right now.
You see the time ticking off. 20 seconds and counting left in regulation. And Kevin Brown calls timeout. And so the Saints burn their second to last timeout. They have one remaining. And with 14.1 seconds to go, Doug, what's the call?
Well, the first thing you want to do is get the ball in bounds. You would be surprised how many times guys want to run and play, but you know Kevin Brown's telling guys, get the ball in bounds. Once we get it in bounds, you know, look for, you know, any of the three guys I like, Linehan, Brady, or Lello, along the baseline here. He's made a heyday along there, but whatever you do, don't start to run your offense too early. Gotta wait till 8 or 9 seconds, enough time so that even if you miss the shot, Pleasant Plains doesn't have a chance to get down on the other end. So the worst thing that can happen is you go into overtime. And on the other hand, Pleasant Plains, the worst thing you can do is foul. Don't foul, play good defense, and just hope that these guys are off the mark.
The Saints had such a difficult time even on the last timeout getting the ball in. It resulted in a turnover. So I think your point is well understood. Get the ball inbounds first.
Well, and don't forget about the guys on the perimeter for Central Catholic. Sheets has had a huge night. 8 points, 3 for 4. And you've got even Long. Even Long's been handling the rock, but he can't shoot. He's got 7 assists. And you look them to penetrate that perimeter. They've been very fortunate with Long.
All right, 14.1 seconds to go. We're tied at 47. Pleasant Plains with 4 timeouts remaining. Central Catholic with 1. Pleasant Plains 16 fouls and Central Catholic with 9. The possession arrow right now favors the Cardinal. Mike Lenahan will trigger for Central Catholic. And he gets it inbounds to Richie Long. Long almost double dribble. 10 seconds to go now on the clock. It's Sheets penetrating, lost the ball on the floor, kicked out of bounds. It's Central Catholics with 4.4 to go. And Kevin Brown wants to use his last timeout.
Well, this makes it a little bit differently. Now you take the basket underneath the hoop, the ball out of bounds. So this puts a little more pressure on you defensively, whereas we're on the sidelines. Pleasant Plains was able to spread their defense. The question now to ask, Kurt, is do you go man-to-man or you go to zone? If you go to zone, you open yourself for that shot from the three-point land. And if that's the case, if you're Kevin Brown, you look for Newberry or Long or even Sheets from three-point land. If vice versa, you got Lenahan. So a lot of different things happen here in the last couple of seconds here. Some adjustments right now. He's trying to figure out whether to play that man-to-man or zone.
We remind you that this copyrighted broadcast is presented for the entertainment, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association is strictly prohibited.
And Kevin Brown's going through his guys right now and say, hey, listen, again, get the ball in bounds. They almost struggled again here right in front of you and I, Kurt. And, but it's going to be very interesting because I sort of like the ball underneath the basket taken out. Gives you throw a lot of guys into that paint area, keep them honest, then look on the perimeter. You still got another time. The Saints have no more timeouts, so they can't call a timeout if they get close to that 5-second call.
Richie Long will trigger under the basket. He gets the ball in. It's Sheets who penetrates, hangs, fires, does get a shot off, but it's no good. And is there any time left on the clock? There's none. Albsmeyer wanted to call timeout. Kevin Brown wanted a foul. Neither happened, and we're tied at 47. And we're headed to overtime. Don't go anyplace. Pleasant Plains 47, Central Catholic 47. Overtime on the way. After these messages and a word from your local stations. Welcome back to Carver Arena. Game number 3 of the Class A quarterfinals on this final Friday quarterfinal. Pleasant Plains 47, Bloomington Central Catholic 47. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger, Lee Hall with you. Overtime on the way, a 4-minute overtime session. Each team granted an additional timeout. So for Central Catholic, that means they just have 1. For Pleasant Plains, that means they have 5. And Central Catholic controls the tip. BCC in the home whites with the purple trim. Pleasant Plains wearing their road red uniforms with white trim. It's been a nip and tuck basketball game throughout, and 32 minutes isn't long enough to decide it, so we'll play another 4. Richie Long all the way down, scooped it up, missed the shot. And cleared by Jordan Roth of Pleasant Plains. Now it's Edmondson. He spins, he was stripped, ball's on the floor, still down, and it's going to go to Central Catholic. We've already seen one overtime game earlier today. It was Tolono Unity in overtime knocking out Robinson. Sheets dribbles down and dribbles into traffic. And the ball is stolen by Pleasant Plains. It's Alvsmeyer who comes away with it. Nice touch pass down to Edmondson from Jordan Roth. And Plains draws first blood in the OT. 49-47, a 2-point lead. Richie Long kicks it over now. Here's Lenahan. Thought about the 3. He had the hot hand in the early minutes of the 3rd quarter from that very spot on the floor, but passed up the shot that time.
Good idea by Central Catholic. Back it out, take their time offensively. Don't want to get too up-tempo. They'll play right into the Cardinals' hands.
Wonderful high school basketball we've seen this afternoon at Carver Arena. And we've got one more game left to go tonight. Bureau Valley and Providence St. Mel. Now Lenahan hangs and fires, and off the glass and in. What a tough shot. And the junior forward has tied this basketball game up. Lenahan now with 16 points. He leads the Saints in scoring. Here's Roth. He spins in the lane, but there's going to be a foul, a whistle before the shot. And it's a foul against Sheets. It'll be a one-on-one shot now for Roth at the foul line.
I think it was Edmondson. He's much more aggressive here in the overtime. He's come off, came towards the end of the 4th quarter there, and he's got those fresh legs, and he looks like he's trying to make something happen out there offensively. It was a good feed by Roth, the possession before, and he gets to the free throw line here.
Yeah, you're right, but it's Edmondson at the free throw line. And John Edmondson has struggled from the foul line tonight. He's just 2 out of 6 from the stripe.
Yeah, had some good looks there. Missed a one-on-one in regulation, so really struggling at the line.
He missed them both, but it's Roth on the offensive end. He laid it in. He did that once in the 4th quarter, and now once in the overtime, where he rebounds a missed free throw. And now a steal by the Pleasant Plains Cardinals. Edmondson, dribble drive in the paint, scooped it up.
With the left hand.
Now in the front court, the Saints have it. Richie Long penetrates, looks for help, kicks it back out to Lenahan. Now Sheets on the near side. It's a 4-point Pleasant Plains lead. A minute and a half here to go in our first overtime. Lello penetrates, missed the shot, and cleared that time by Joe Miles of Pleasant Plains. And now the Cardinals have the basketball in a 4-point lead. Boy, what a pivotal sequence off the missed free throw. Jordan Roth scores, and then Pleasant Plains off their full-court pressure comes up with a steal. And they turned what looked like a 0-point possession into a 4-point possession, essentially. And now Cliff Cameron wants timeout. And so the head coach of the Cardinals asks for it and is granted a timeout. 58 seconds to go and a 4-point Pleasant Plains advantage.
Well, Kurt, you talked about it. That was a huge rebound by Jordan Roth. I mean, you got to block out, especially when you're at the free throw line. No one seals him off, able to use his 6'7". His height goes right up over the top, and no one seals him off. He's able to do that. And the possession before that had a great no-look pass to Edmondson. So You expect those guys to step up like they're here. You see a bucket, good penetration, goes in, switch over, high kiss off the glass. That was a tough shot.
Tough shot by Michael Lenahan.
What's hurt, and there's a great change with of hands there by Edmondson, and he did a great job, and he's really stepped up here in the overtime and made his presence known.
Right now, 3 players in double figures in scoring right now for Pleasant Plains. Jordan Roth leading the way with 16. He averages 17 a game, so he's right about at his average. Then you've got Joey Albsmeyer with 12, and also John Edmondson, the man that we just saw, also with 12. Meanwhile, for Central Catholic, 3 players also in double figures. Michael Lenahan, who we just saw a minute ago, has 16. You've got William Brady with 12, and Raymond Lello with 11. And it's a 53-49 advantage for Pleasant Plains, and that is a picture of Jody Brown. Kevin Brown, the head coach of Central Catholic. That's his wife, who in January took a job in Colorado. Kevin Brown will follow her there as soon as the season is over. He said that back in January. Little did he know he'd take his team all the way to the state quarterfinals. A foul way out at the timeline by Raven Lello as he bodied up on Jordan Roth. 50.6 seconds left on the clock, and Roth to the free throw line, where he is a 70% foul shooter. And the second team All-Stater has an opportunity to give his team a 6-point lead.
We talked about making your free throws down the stretch in clutch position, and Jordan Roth steps up, makes the first. Got to make them if you want to be a state champion.
Roth now 18 points, 6-point Pleasant Plains advantage, 55-49. Near steal that time. Sheets comes away with it. His 3 ball is no good. Tipped up is no good again, and it's cleared by Sunley. And Pleasant Plains is in real good shape now after the foul in the backcourt. William Brady is whistled for the foul, and that will be his 5th. And so the sophomore forward, who played very well tonight, 12 points for the Central Catholic sophomore. He'll leave the game, and Tyler Newberry comes in, and a nice round of applause for William Brady. And John Edmondson now has a chance to go to the foul line and pad that Pleasant Plains lead. Jeremy Daniel of Central Catholic is the scorer's table. He'll get in.
Well, you talked about a Cinderella story. These kids out there, Central Catholic, didn't have, when you look at them, they're not the most intimidating group of people, but group of guys. But, I mean, they just play with such tenacity and heart, and it's almost sad to see these guys. I mean, I think everybody in the whole arena was sort of rooting for them, and but Pleasant Plains, this was just too much for them down the stretch.
Both free throws made that time by Edmondson, who now has 14 points. And it's Matt Bryant who comes back in. He replaces Joe Miles.
Yeah, 6 of those points here in overtime. He is really, they looked for somebody to offensively get on track, and he really got going for him.
Sheets brings the ball up the floor now for the Saints. Under 30 seconds to go in the overtime. Lenahan, a long 3 from the top of the arc, and a timeout called by Central Catholic.
Well, they're not going to go down without a fight, that's for sure. Lenahan hit that from the parking lot.
Way out. And so Michael Lenahan now with 19 points has taken over game-high honors in scoring, but his team still trails by 5, and the Saints are now out of timeouts.
Yeah, you need a quick foul right now. As soon as the ball goes, and try to steal the out of bounds. But if you don't get it, then go for the quick steal. That's what he's telling his guys right now.
And don't forget, folks, we are not done with basketball after this one. We have one more state quarterfinal to go. Bureau Valley and Providence St. Mel will come up after this one is over. Jim Albrecht, Matt Taphorn will call that one. Bureau Valley, Providence St. Mel immediately following the conclusion of this ball game here.
Well, we've had back-to-back overtime games, and both teams, I mean, you hate to see someone lose. And in this game here, both teams playing extremely well. It's not like either team played poorly. And both teams shot over 50%. Both of them are very assertive and did the things they need to do to win. But it comes down to a play here, a turnover there, a possession there. It's just a fine line.
Cliff Cameron's team lost 2 games in a row in late January. On a Friday and Saturday night, he said when the team came to practice on that following Monday, there was an attitude change. And Pleasant Plains has ridden that change into the state Elite Eight and is 23.5 seconds away from perhaps riding that into the state semifinals. They'll play on the last night of the regular season, of the postseason. Tyler Newberry immediately fouls Jordan Roth in the backcourt.
Well, sometimes when you to get to the state championship, you got to be a little lucky, and they were lucky earlier in their sectional against Virginia. Barely won that game in overtime. I like what Cliff Cameron said. He said, I saw that shot go up from the free throw line. He thought I was going to go down. He said, I felt like I was going to get sick. And again, I think tonight they dodged a bullet. They easily could have lost this game in regulation. Central Catholic had the basketball, got the shot that probably they were looking for, wasn't able to go down, and they survive again.
By the way, this young man at the free throw line, Jordan Roth, is an outstanding pitcher on the baseball team. Helped the team win a state championship in baseball in 2000 and make it to the Elite Eight in baseball last year. So this guy knows how to win on various different levels, various different sports. He knocks down both the free throws. He now has 20 points. It's a 7-point lead for his Cardinals. From the outside, Lenahan again. A 3 is no good. Bryant comes away with it. He and Sheets are wrestling for it, and the foul is going to be against the Saints' Sheets. So the clock is striking midnight on the team which has been dubbed the Cinderella here of the Elite Eight. And Jordan Roth is our country insurance player of the game. 20 points on 8 of 11 shooting. He had 10 boards and 4 assists. So a double-double tonight for Jordan Roth, who's going to guide his team into the state semifinals tomorrow.
And Kurt, it looked like in overtime the big guns for Pleasant Plains picked it up, and you had Roth and Edmondson and Sunley. All those guys just seemed to wear down the smaller Central Catholic guys. I mean, after a while, they just, what can you ask for a guy to do?
And this takes no tarnish off what has been a terrific postseason run for Central Catholic, a team which will finish the season 15-16 and making it to the final weekend of the year. In fact, only 3 previous Central Catholic teams have made it this far to the state quarterfinals. So now you can say that Central Catholic has been in the Elite Eight in 73, 76, 79, and 2002. And now we're seeing all kinds of substitutions at the bench. It's going to be like a hockey line change, as both coaches want to give their players an opportunity to say they played on the Carver Arena floor in the state quarterfinals. Standing ovations for both teams. A very hard-fought game. Nobody's leaving anything on the floor tonight in this overtime.
A real special moment. Guys coming off the bench able to say they played in in the state tournament in Peoria. Special moment for those guys. And
Jeremy Daniel a chance to get in the scorebook here at the foul line. So Pleasant Plains will be the 3rd team to get into the state semifinals here. 1 more team to go. They'll play the winner of the last game of the night between Bureau Valley and Providence St. Mel. And Central Catholic again wraps up a wonderful season, a wonderful postseason run. But it is striking midnight on the team that has been dubbed the Cinderella of the tournament. 60-53. Pleasant Plains eliminates Kevin Brown and the Bloomington Central Catholic Saints. But it certainly was a very entertaining basketball game.
Well, it was a very difficult game, and Cliff Cameron was afraid of everything was going to happen. And I think everything that could have gone wrong, it almost went wrong for him, but they hung in there, and they were able to gut it out in overtime in a huge win for Pleasant Plains. Central Catholic came so close, just barely missed a huge upset.
So Pleasant Plains will advance to the semifinals and join Heron and Tolono Unity already in. Lee Hall standing by now with some post-game comments.
All right, Kurt, thanks a lot. We're with Cliff Cameron. Coach, your team down by double digits there in the second half. I guess a very gritty Bloomington Central Catholic team, but your guys showed some chutzpah themselves.
They sure. We never gave up. Like you said, they're very gritty. They're playing with a lot of enthusiasm. They're playing with a lot of pride right now, a lot of confidence. They had a great postseason run. You know, I can't say enough about the effort they had tonight, and I'm just proud of our boys. You know, it seemed like they threw up a lot of shots. They were falling in, and we didn't give up. Things weren't going good for us throughout most of the game, but we hung in there. We were able to take it in overtime, and overtime we were able to came out the win. So things didn't look real smooth or real good for a while, but we did come away with the win, and we get to play tomorrow, so I'm happy about that.
That full court pressure worked for you early, and it worked for you late.
Right, it did. We jumped up early on it. We did have a couple guys get some quick fouls and foul trouble, and we thought it might be a factor tonight, our full court pressure, which we know if we get after it and we get that trap, that's a key. If we get a hard trap that first pass, and then we make them throw out of it, and sometimes we get that next pass, we're able to deflect or get an interception. So late in the game, it was a very big key for us, our full court pressure.
All right, Coach, congratulations, taking home a trophy for the second time in 3 years. Jordan Roth is our player of the game. Boy, what an effort from this Bloomington Central Catholic team. You guys hung right with them, and I mean, it was just an outstanding ball game. You couldn't ask for more in a high school basketball game.
Definitely. I mean, kept the crowd entertained. I mean, we had us scared for a long time there, but they came out, they played really well. They knocked down a lot of shots, and we didn't play too good a defense, but we're in the trophy round. That's all that matters. So.
Tell me what was going on in the huddle. What was the mood of the team when you were down double digits there in the third quarter?
It's all right. I mean, we got down in sectionals to Virginia. We were down about 10, and we knew we could come back. It was a team we could come back on. We just had to knock down some shots and go inside against their triangle 2 and box and 1, and we got it done.
Tell me what it means to you to get back to the state championship game, or the state championship medal trophy round. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here.
It feels a lot better as a senior. I mean, as sophomores, we came in here and we made it, and I mean, it didn't really sink in, but as seniors, we were there, and for a while I thought it was our last game, but we came through finally, and it feels really good.
And a great classy move by you, I thought, there at the end, congratulating the sophomore Brady when he went out of the game.
Definitely. He didn't miss the whole game. We couldn't stop him. He's a great player. He'll probably be back here sometime. So.
All right, Jordan Roth, good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jordan Roth, our Country Insurance player of the game. Kurt, back to you. I guess it's midnight, right?
Yeah, I guess hypothetically speaking, the clock strikes midnight on the Bloomington Central Catholic States. Their head coach, Kevin Brown, said, you know, Doug, every game we were outmanned, every game we were the underdog. Nobody gave us a chance. Nobody gave them a chance here today, but they were this close away from winning again, weren't they?
And when you saw this team warm up, I mean, you looked at them on paper, they didn't look like the most impressive group of guys, but, you know, when they played as a unit, they played hard, they outworked people, and they basically almost outworked Pleasant Plains there for most of the game and almost came up a little bit short, but I think they got worn down there in overtime, and like you said, the shoes came off.
And Pleasant Plains is a very dangerous team, and they're playing on the final day of the season. They've got a semifinal berth tomorrow. What a game. Again, the final score 60-53. Pleasant Plains, a 7-point win in overtime over Bloomington Central Catholic. We are done for this game. Stand by. Providence St. Mel and Bureau Valley is coming up. For Lee Hall and Doug Altenberger, this is Kurt Pegler. 60-53, the final score once again, Pleasant Plains over Bloomington Central Catholic in overtime. Back with more after these messages and a word from your local stations.